Hey, it's Rachel. So if you're here for recipes and workouts, etc., this might not be the video for you. This is going to be a sit down and chat to answer all of the questions that I've been getting about my bikini prep. Yeah, let's just go into it because I have a feeling this is going to be a long one. Bodybuilding has nothing to do with how much weight you can lift. It's all about using weightlifting, cardio, and your diet in order to shape your body into what we would consider an ideal physique. So for me, I compete in the bikini division. What the judges are looking for are really big rounded shoulders, a really small waist, and really nice glutes, aka your butt. Now, why do I compete? Because I love the stage. I also love prep, and that might sound a little crazy because prep is hard. Prep means anywhere between 20 weeks to 8 weeks you diet, and you diet hardcore. It means never skipping a workout, never eating anything off plan or that's not calculated, and it means just pushing your body to an extreme. You absolutely do not need to compete in order to lose weight or bodybuild. Why do I share? There are hundreds of girls on YouTube that share their bikini preps. If you are into that, just put in YouTube bikini prep and you will see like thousands of videos. But the reason that I share is because I want to show other people with fibromyalgia that I can do something as extreme as bodybuilding and not be in pain, because I found that my diet actually controls my symptoms. Fibromyalgia means that I feel pain in my whole body all the time. Think about a time when maybe you hurt yourself really badly and take that pain and multiply it throughout your whole body. And now imagine if that never went away. So it doesn't matter how you like twist in your chair, it doesn't matter how you like stretch, it doesn't stop. It gets very hard to focus on anything, and it gets very hard to move or exercise. On top of that, you also have the symptom of chronic fatigue, which means you are so incredibly exhausted that like taking a shower can pretty much be the only thing you do all day. That's what I went through for about a year until I figured out what worked. And I figured that out through a lot of experimentation and a lot of trial and error. It did not happen overnight. So speaking of my diet, in order to get my fibromyalgia pain and chronic fatigue to disappear, I can't eat gluten, and I also have found I can't eat gluten-free breads and dairy, anything with lactose. I do still have butter, and I do still have a whey isolate because it's lactose free. And then there are a few other things that I don't eat. Whether or not that's related to my fibromyalgia, I don't know, but I am intolerant to soy milk, edamame, tofu, soy lecithin I'm okay with, go figure, but any other soy products make me run to the bathroom. And then recently I discovered that I cannot have walnuts or pecans, random, but that's also not on my diet. So what do I eat? A lot of rice, sweet potato, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, bison, ground beef, chicken, turkey, fish, a lot of non-processed clean foods. I do eat the occasional protein bar or like other processed foods. Rice cakes are super processed, I eat those. But for the most part, I prefer to eat like whole foods, nutrient dense, that have micronutrients like vitamins and minerals. However, I do follow If It Fits Your Macros. My coach gives me specific gram amounts of protein, carbs, and fats. In order to make sure that it is as accurate as possible, I weigh all of my food on a food scale. The only time I don't weigh it would be if it's something like rice cakes, where the serving size is 1 rice cake. I just assume it's accurate. It's probably not, but it's close enough, and I'm not that crazy. So something else about prep, because I have to weigh out and be super accurate about all of my food, I don't go out to eat during my prep. I did last year, and I felt like that really stalled my progress. You just never know what restaurants are going to put in their food. The other thing is I don't drink alcohol. I don't really drink alcohol anyway, so it wasn't a huge deal. When I'm not on prep, I will have the occasional glass of red wine, but during prep, I don't drink alcohol at all because alcohol does slow your metabolism. Right now, my goal is to lose weight as fast as possible, basically, until my show. So speaking of shows, a lot of you guys have asked me, what show or shows am I doing? The plan is to do the same show that I did last year, which is the Mr. and Miss Illinois Natural. It is an NANBF show, and it is on August 12th. And then the following week, on August 19th, there is another NANBF show, but here in Chicago. Don't have a ton of information about that show, but right now, those are the two that I'm thinking of. So that puts me at 19 weeks until I step on stage. Now, why do I compete in the NANBF? That is a natural federation. Do a polygraph, pretty much just ask you if you've ever taken any steroids. Then if you win, as soon as you get your trophy, they grab you by the hand, take you downstairs, and one of the ladies, if you're a woman, watches you pee into a cup, and then they drug test it. That was super important to me. In the NPC, you are allowed to take steroids. Some girls do, and it's just really hard to compete as a natural competitor against somebody who takes steroids. So let's get into the fun part. What do my workouts look like? What am I doing? Who does them? What's going on? How am I losing all this weight? First off, I do have a coach. My coach is Danica Johnson. It is the same coach that Kara Corey uses. So Danica each week gives me gram amounts of my macros, so protein, carbs, and fat, and she will also tell me how much cardio to do. When I started prep at 23 weeks out, I was doing about 15 minutes of cardio every single day. That's just on the Stairmaster, like level 5. I break a sweat, but it's just low intensity. Right now, I am incorporating HIIT cardio, so I run sprints. If you guys followed my prep last year, you will remember that I did sprints. I always do them on the treadmill just because I do have asthma and allergies, and they really affect me when I try to sprint outside. But right now, it's only like 10 minutes, 3 times a week, really not that bad. As far as weightlifting, I actually create my workouts. I am in school right now for exercise science. I love experimenting and learning about how I can tweak things, and I really enjoy being in control of that, and Danica doesn't seem to mind at all. So let's talk about my split. What I created for myself was Sunday, I do glutes and hamstrings. Monday, I do back and arms. Tuesday, I take a HIIT cardio class. Basically, it is 1 hour of Tabata style workouts. Wednesday is shoulders and abs. Thursday is a heavy leg day, which right now we're doing a focus on my quads. So that is the front part of my legs. Friday is another shoulder and ab workout. Saturday is my rest day. One of you guys asked me how this prep was different from last prep. And she also said, hey, are you gonna show pictures of what you look like right now? The very first picture on the left was when I started my prep last year. The middle photo is my competition. I lost about 10 pounds, and so I look much smaller. I was proud. I worked as hard as I could. I made a lot of mistakes that prep, but it was a learning experience. On the very right side, I took around the beginning of this prep. So it's about 1 year difference. And right away, I've noticed there's a huge difference in my stomach. So you can see when I started my prep last year, I just had a bigger stomach. And this year you can kind of see some sort of definition. I did, however, put on some size on my glutes and on my thighs. I took my measurements compared from last year to this year. I've gained like an inch on my hips. I gained an inch on my shoulders, but my waist is the same size as I was last year. As far as weight goes, I did gain all of the weight that I had lost last year. At first, I was kind of upset by that, but now I'm just like, you know what, it happened. And so it's kind of stupid being upset about it because it's not like I could change it. But when I started prep, I was 35 pounds last year. I got down to 121, and then immediately after my show went up to 125 pounds and stayed 125 for a while. After my show, I did intuitive eating, aka just eating, which means I didn't count macros at all, and I was able to maintain 125. I also took my workouts down to like 3 times a week instead of 6 times a week, just to accommodate like school and life. And then the holidays hit, and yeah, after going to Antigua for a week and eating whatever I wanted, I went from 125 to 130. And then this year I had some stressful things happen in my life and used food as a coping mechanism, and so I went back up to 135. However, you can see in those comparison shots, the 135 looks a little bit different, and so that's okay. It's not all about the scale. I have noticed that my metabolism is a little bit slower, I think, than last year. It's hard to compare because last year I made a lot of mistakes at the beginning of my prep, not hitting my macros perfectly, going out to eat and guesstimating how many calories were in a meal when they were definitely wrong. I do feel like my macros are a little bit lower than last year. I'm going to go ahead and share my macros right now, but I always preface this with the same thing that everybody says on YouTube. Do not copy my macros. They are based on what I was eating previously. So people say, they're like, oh, Rachel's 130 pounds and she's 5 foot tall. Well, I'm 130 pounds and 5 foot tall, so I'm just gonna eat the same thing she does. And that doesn't work. If you have questions about macro counting, please feel free to email me. I'm painfreekitchen@gmail.com. I'm more than happy to help you. But right now, I am 19 weeks out. I am eating 120 grams of protein, 50 grams of fat, and 170 grams of carbs. So far, I have lost 5 pounds in 3-4 weeks. Right? I lost weight pretty quickly. I went from 135 to 130 really quickly, and then have just kind of been stalling at 130. As far as how I've been feeling, when I first started, like at 23 weeks out, I was super pumped, felt energized, felt motivated. Within the last week, that has changed a little bit. I have noticed feeling kind of like, oh, wouldn't it be nice to be able to go out to eat? It's something that Jake and I really love doing. There are a lot of brunch places in the neighborhood, but I'm not letting it get to me. As far as cravings go, I don't really have any right now, but I do feel hunger. Like, whoa. Anytime you diet, you're gonna feel hungry because your body wants food and you're not giving it to them. But there were definitely some days where my metabolism was like going, like I don't know what it was, I was burning through food. I am feeling really run down, especially with the HIIT cardio. It really is taking a lot out of my body, and I'm only on 19 weeks, so it's only gonna get worse, but that's okay. Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at right now. But let me know if you have any more questions. I'm more than happy to answer them. I have no secrets. I do not mind sharing whatsoever. The only thing that I will respect is if Danica gives me something special. Like, I'm not gonna blast that on YouTube because like I am paying her for a service, and so I don't want to like spread all of her, I don't know, plans, workouts or whatever for free online. But I'm more than happy to share my workouts if I create them. I will see you guys in my next video.